Poll question, Seton. What are we going to go with or attempt to go with in the first hour?
Well, Dan, we could go with who had, it's Monday.
Okay.
So we start negative.
Okay.
Who had the worst weekend? Okay. We could sort of populate this a little bit. Bengals did not have a good weekend.
Okay.
Lost again. Joe Burrow re-aggravates his calf injury.
Yeah.
Not ideal.
Yeah.
Chargers. Here we go again, kind of feel there, huh?
Yep.
Are they the first hot seat situation that we're talking about this year?
You know, it's kind of like when you turn on the heater, if you have heated seats in your car, it takes a little while, and then all of a sudden it gets up warm real quickly. And then you're like, whoa. That's what it feels like. It's like maybe the temperature, just putting it on, and then all of a sudden it's going to heat up a little bit here. And Chargers are in Minnesota next weekend, I believe. We know the stat of teams that are 0-2 and the chances of making the playoffs. The Bengals did that last year. But, you know, the Chargers aren't out of it because of the division. Kansas City is 1-1. Denver's not good. The Raiders are 1-1. The Chargers are competitive. They're going to be in all these games. They have a very good offense. My problem is they don't have a clutch offense. When you have an opportunity in the fourth quarter or overtime to do something, they don't do that. Now, that's coaching, and that's quarterbacking. You have to have that person who can make a play or you call the right play, and they haven't had that so far. Who else is on the list, Seton?
The Jets did not have a good weekend, although they had such a worse weekend the weekend before that I don't know.
I just don't understand the game plan here because you have Zach Wilson. He's been thrust into the lineup now, and I thought you have two good running backs. How about you run the ball, maybe neutralize Micah Parsons and that front four? You ran the ball 11 times. Whatever you got from Zach Wilson, you deserved because you let them just tee off and 3 interceptions. They're going to put pressure on you. How about we just do little screen passes and we run the football? And you're supposed to have a really good defense, too. I think a lot of those guys were chirping start of the season how great that defense was. Well, you needed to show up as well, and you didn't. I'm not going to put all this on Zach Wilson. I think he is who he is. But let me take away some of those chance plays here. Let him get a little confidence in. Not, Micah Parsons. He'll be seeing Micah Parsons in his sleep this week. But I was disappointed with the game plan there. I didn't think they were going to win. But how about we just neutralize Micah Parsons, run the ball, and they didn't. You can't get in a shootout against that defense. Not in Dallas. Rough performance by Zach Wilson, pressed into duty, of course, with Aaron Rodgers. I saw where Aaron Rodgers is doing some kind of new procedure or a new kind of surgery was performed on him. And he hopes to be back if the Jets make the playoffs. Yes, Paul?
Yeah, there's been some Achilles injuries in the past where the timeline has been bumped up. Cam Akers, remember the running back who played for the Rams? He had one. He was back in like under 6 months. And they're saying this procedure is not – it used to be a year. You just said a year. And now it's going the other way a little bit.
Here's Zach Wilson on his performance against the Cowboys.
I was so frustrated because, we called a great play. The situation was the ball has to get out of bounds so we can at least get the field goal. And, Garrett was my safe throwaway. And as I got to the top of my drop, he was open. And I was going to rip it to him at the front pylon. And somebody, I don't know who it was, got a piece of the ball. And it's unfortunate because in games like that, those are the ones we need to connect on.
Okay, so what do you do if you're the Jets? Going to play Zach Wilson? Who can you bring in? They have to bring in a veteran, I would imagine, by tomorrow. I don't know if it's Joe Flacco. I don't know if you trade for somebody. But if you have this amount of talent, you just say, let's just sort of roll the dice and see what we have with Zach Wilson. The only thing that I would have, well, I said this in the moment when I'm watching is, I want to take the ball out of his hands as much as possible. You're going against a great defense, Micah Parsons. You're in Dallas. The expectation level, you're just sort of easing back into the lineup here. Run the football. They ran the ball 11 times. You're not going to win with Zach Wilson throwing the ball 30 times. You're not. But if you can balance this out, then I think you have a chance. The defense didn't play that well yesterday, and that's supposed to be an elite defense. I didn't expect Zach Wilson to play well, but I did expect that defense to play pretty well. And if Dallas has this defense and you get just a normal contribution from the offense, which means no mistakes, then they're an elite team. They're an elite team in all of football, not just the NFC. And by the way, if you're a Giants fan or you're a Giants player, you have no business celebrating. That's one of those where you come into the locker room, and if I'm the head coach, Brian Dable, I go, no, stop. No hoot and holler, no. This feels like a loss. You were down 20-0, and I thought Arizona would win that game or could win that game. I was all in on them on the Gambling Podcast. I said Seattle in Detroit, and I loved Arizona against the Giants. And you're watching that game, and yes, they did get a win. They did have this dramatic comeback. We always look at, man, what a comeback. How did you get in the position where you needed a dramatic comeback? In Arizona, that's not a good team. Now you may have Saquon Barkley out for a while. Hopefully it's not serious, but he reacted as if it was serious when he threw his helmet when he was on the sidelines. But that's one of those, that's a bad win by the Giants. Now, it could have been a really bad loss if you let Arizona win it, but that's one of those where you can't be celebrating going, we're back. Yeah, Marv.
But if you're the Giants after week 1, a win is a win. You have to take it.
You're right, and you got San Francisco coming up next week.
Good luck.
Yeah. Yes, Tom.
Not only do they have the Niners coming up in San Francisco, they're playing them in 3 days from now. That's the Thursday night.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy. And then you might, with Saquon Barkley, let's say it's hopefully a sprained ankle, he wouldn't be able to play, I don't think, in a couple of days. Yeah, Paul.
And, not to pile on, but this is why teams don't pay running backs.
Yeah.
This is, all that hoo-ha in August, then during the regular season, they're interchangeable.
And then Josh Jacobs had minus yards yesterday in the game against Buffalo. Your running back crusade that they should be paid, this is why they don't get paid. Yeah, Paul.
By the way, is anyone else thinking about getting on the Commanders bandwagon? New ownership now, you don't have to deal with the Daniel Snyder stink. Sam Howell's kind of fun. Nobody talks about him. They're a fun team.
Yeah.
I know. The name changes.
I'm okay with it.
I think it's Daniel Snyder hangover
that
you can't root for this team. But he's gone.
I like the coach. Sam Howell used to be a thing in college. You got a good running back. You got a couple of good receivers. Defensive line is pretty good. Yeah. Yes, Todd.
And you're in a conference where who knows what's going to happen. The AFC is stacked, but being in the NFC, maybe they can sneak in and do something interesting.
Well, it's too tough in their own division. You got the Eagles and the Cowboys.
If you could get a good enough record to sneak a wild card, who knows?
All right.
Are you co-opting my team that is about to jump on the bandwagon?
I think I just jinxed them, unfortunately.
Well, you don't want to be on the Broncos bandwagon.
You don't. You really don't right now.
Yeah. Here is Sean Payton talking about his quarterback.
That's got to change. We had to burn timeouts in the first half, and I'm not used to doing. We got to be better, and I've got to be better. Russ has got to be sharper with getting the play out, and then we got to look at how much we have in. But if we need to wristband it, we will.
Okay, Russell Wilson Jr. III has been hit more than any other quarterback so far, and you throw in 14 times yesterday he got hit. I don't know how much is on Russell Wilson, but I would start with the head coach and the plays that are called in your offensive line. And then to lose in dramatic fashion, almost tie it up in dramatic fashion. And here is how it sounded on the Hail Mary.
3 seconds to go from the 50. Down 8, trying to get a free snap. Commanders don't jump off. They rush 4. Russell in the pocket, now bounces around, sets and throws the ball up in the air. It's going to be short. The ball deflected. The ball deflected and caught! Touchdown, Denver, Brandon Johnson! Oh, my word! Good googa mooga!
Okay. And then you had the 2-point conversion that probably was pass interference on that. Here's the problem I had on the Hail Mary. These defensive backs are so stupid in the moment. Knock the ball down. Everybody wants to get their interception, get their numbers up. If you knock the ball down, then you don't have to worry about this. The last defensive back tipped it up in the air.
That would be number 31, Cameron Curl, not to name names.
What are you doing?
Too soon.
What are you doing? Let me keep it alive? Knock it down. You missed out on an interception, but you got, you ensured that you got a win here. I'm like, unbelievable. And then there's pass interference, I think, on that final play or the 2-point conversion. The 2-0 teams, Ravens, 49ers, Cowboys, Dolphins. Okay. Buccaneers, Falcons. Okay. I thought the Buccaneers were going to be in a rebuild mode here. Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield might have that rejuvenation that we saw with Ryan Tannehill. When Tannehill washed out with the Dolphins, ended up going to Tennessee, and then they, became a good quarterback, serviceable quarterback. The Falcons, I love the offense. They were fun. Jordan Love with a big mistake on that 4th down call and 4th and 2, going for a quarterback sneak. He's the only one who moved. The offensive line didn't pick up on whatever cadence that he changed to, and that cost him. But the Falcons got in field goal range and ended up winning that game. Saints and the Panthers, Browns and the Steelers coming up tonight. If you like comebacks, you certainly had that in a variety of games. You had Atlanta down 12, Giants down 21, Tennessee down 11, Washington down 18. Those were teams that, 4 teams that came back to win yesterday. So the Giants, they overcame the 21-point third quarter deficit. The Commanders were down 18 in the second quarter against the Denver Broncos. Falcons were down 12 in the fourth quarter. Tennessee was down 11 in the first half, came back to beat the Chargers. And Seahawks with a win against Denver. So you had some pretty good comebacks there, and they're all close games. You got these one-score games. 877-3DP Show. Operator Tyler is standing by. Last night it was the Dolphins over the Patriots, and here's Tyreek Hill, who didn't enjoy his trip to New England.
Oh, it felt tremendous, man. Those fans are, some of the worst fans in the NFL, and I'm gonna stand on that, man, because they are real nasty, and some of the things that they were saying wasn't, I wouldn't say in church. So it felt great to wave goodbye to the fans, and I'll do it again. Bye.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Marv.
But how much stuff at a football game can you repeat in church?
Probably not too much. I accidentally said Seahawks over Denver, Seahawks over Detroit.
I like that even Boston players talk about how terrible the fans are there.
Yeah.
It's their home crowd, and they're like, these people are terrible.
Here is the Patriots quarterback, Mac Jones.
Biggest thing is just we're close. We drove the ball pretty well. Just didn't get it in. Last week we were behind and kind of scored some touchdowns, and if we can combine those two things, move the ball and then get it in the red zone, I think everyone would be smiling right now. So that's the biggest thing.
All right. It always seems like somebody's kid came into the press conference. Whenever he sits down, it's like, hey, get out of here. Go back there and pick up those towels. Like he just sort of goes in and it just, almost, I don't know, kind of almost, yeah. Yes, Marv.
He's the quarterback version of Mike McDaniel. Like when you hear him talk, you're not like, oh, let's go. It's all okay. I'm just giving my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to.
Just do what it has to. Yeah, Paul.
Mike McDaniel's becoming an entertainer because he was entertaining when they weren't really winning yet. And now that they're winning and handling people, he's just letting it out there, running off the field with the cameras yesterday. Every press conference it's like a stand-up special.
Yeah, there's something with his delivery. He's got that deadpan delivery like Stephen Wright does. Yes, give me a Stephen Wright, Todd.
I bought some batteries, but they weren't included, so I had to buy them again. It's a small world, but I wouldn't want to paint it.
Didn't he do one where I was born cesarean section, so I don't leave the house through the door, I go through the window?
My favorite joke of his is when he said, I once had a job at a fire hydrant making plant or something. It was a great job, but there was nowhere to park.
That is good.